in this first clip is Andrew Tate. I know DeShawn just loves Andrew Tate. I mean, he is the biggest Andrew Tate fan you're ever going to meet in your entire life. Tell us how you feel about Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate needs to either find Jesus or find a bullet.
Okay. Wow. Hey, welcome to Not Offended Podcast. It's your boy Anthony. I got the bishop and the token in the house, and we are already confused. Already, yes. I'm looking at the camera, and I'm like, we're trying to figure out, is this our 2-year anniversary? Did we miss our 2-year anniversary? Boy, if this is a relationship, we'd be in trouble right now.
We need our wives.
But I will tell you what we do know is we started out our podcast, and we talked about the slap. Y'all remember the slap? You guys remember the slap?
Slap heard around
the world, baby. Come on. So, hey, whose career has recovered better, Will Smith or Chris Rock from the slap?
I'm going Chris Rock.
Why you say that?
Well, I mean, it wasn't like he was really out there like Will Smith was before. I mean, he's a comedian, so he was doing stand up. I think he's still doing stand up.
Has Will Smith done a movie since then?
I don't know.
He did like a Disney Plus like kind of discovery thing.
Okay. Right here, right now, since it's our anniversary, we think it's our anniversary. I'm not sure, but maybe it is. Not Offended Podcast. Talk about culture and its influence on the church. It's got nothing to do with anything. Just us having some small talk. Who recovers better in the next 5 to 10 years? Will Smith or Chris Rock?
Well, Chris Rock just had a special that you guys obviously don't know about.
Well, you sat there and didn't say anything.
I think it was the first live event, one of the first live events they had on Netflix.
Okay.
So like,
how'd it do?
Deal. I don't know. I didn't watch it, and I don't know what happened.
Okay, so
I'm sure he got paid though.
Okay, give me a prediction. Who recovers better from the slap? Will Smith or Chris Rock?
Chris Rock.
Chris Rock. Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna just be different because I am different. I'm gonna go Will Smith. I got you.
What's he gonna do?
I don't know, but so watch this. Will Smith, I got you. You go ahead and make Parents Just Don't Understand Part 2. Okay.
He's gonna do Ali too.
No, let's do.
You need to divorce his wife first.
Ooh. Okay, can we do? Can we do a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunited and it feels so good like episode? Let's do a Fresh Prince.
The dad's dead.
Rest in
Uncle
peace,
Phil.
Uncle Phil.
Yeah.
God, man, Uncle Phil was the man. Do you know I still watch? Man, if somebody please comment in the comment section right now, where can I find the Fresh Prince? Where can I find those episodes? I want to find those episodes. Uncle Phil was the man. I love me some Uncle Phil. I think everybody wanted Uncle Phil to be their dad.
I love the Cosby Show. I know Cosby got canceled, but I used to love the Cosby Show.
Well, Bill ended up being a super predator, allegedly.
It's hard to watch now. It's hard to watch.
It is hard.
What do they say? Just don't hit the same.
He was an actor.
Bill Cosby, remember he make the Jell-O commercials.
Oh,
the
Jell-O. Yeah.
Jello.
You're going to have to cancel everyone you start doing that. You can't watch nothing.
Nah.
You be reading your Bible.
Hey.
Don't let anyone else say to Jesus.
Maybe we should be reading. Okay, let's get to it. So, Not Offended Podcast, and we're talking about culture's influence on the church. We're going to get to the comment section real quick. Everybody liked our last episode. So many people shocked at what's going on in that school system. I ended up watching the news the next day, and one of the head superintendents of the school system said he was completely unaware this was going on. And to quote him, people were going to get fired.
Good for him.
Do you think that's rightfully so? People getting fired?
Well, he might want to get people fired, but ain't getting fired.
I think things are different in Oklahoma.
Oh, maybe the union's not as strong. Here in California, guess what? Nobody getting fired.
Nobody getting fired.
There might be some leave with pay.
You know what it's called? Administrative leave. You know what administrative leave means? You did something wrong.
You go on vacation.
But you go on vacation. We're going to keep paying you.
They're going to be like a librarian assistant or something, but still getting teacher pay.
Right, exactly. But in Oklahoma, he said it's going to happen. So the quote of the day comes from somebody on, and you got to go look at this quote if you want to see it, but they said, I love pastors saying hell no to the toes. That needs to be a shirt. That was their comment. We need to make a new shirt. It says hell no to toes. And so I liked that quote. You guys like that quote? You sport that shirt at Walmart? You gonna wear that?
I ain't gonna wear it, but I mean, yeah, I'm against kids sucking toes.
Is this one of those things where we have to pressure you? Like, unless you wear the shirt, then you really don't believe that.
You don't stand by what you said. So on the record right now, we can quote the bishop as saying, You are against kids sucking toes.
But we don't really know that unless you wear the shirt.
Until you come with a Black Lives Matter shirt, I don't believe you believe my life matters.
Well, maybe the truth's coming out.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey, I know you'd wear a Black Lives Matter shirt if he'd wear hell no to sucking toes. I think you'd do it.
Yeah, probably.
You probably would just to see him put on the hell no to sucking toes shirt right there. So anyway, yeah, they like that. But I'm glad. So I'm going to go ahead and go on record too, since the bishop has. Okay, I just feel like I need to now. I feel pressured. I, Anthony Paul Flores, am against kids sucking other kids' toes as well. I just want to go on record. I feel a lot better about myself. Your turn, I guess.
What, I have to say that now?
Yeah, apparently, I don't know. He started it. I don't know. I'm feeling pressured.
No, you're trying to force me to wear the shirt. I was like, I don't have to wear the shirt, but I am against it.
I'm against it, and I would wear the shirt.
Okay. He went up to you.
Hey, that's okay. You win.
Okay. So I don't know where to start. I just got back from Alabama. Shout out to Decatur, Become a Man Conference. Had a great time.
Decatur. What the heck is Decatur?
Right outside Huntsville, I think. Something like there.
Guess I don't know Alabama.
He referenced Decatur to Huntsville like you knew where Huntsville was.
I know. That's why I gave up. I was like,
Hey, D, it's right next to Huntsville. Oh, I know for sure where it's at. Right?
So I shot that out because we had a great time. I got picked on a lot being from California, rightfully so. They kindly gave me directions on which bathrooms to use as a shot over here that we don't know how to use bathrooms over here, which is true. They said the guy symbol is a guy, so you don't have to worry about it. And I was allowed to go in there. So I said, you know what? I appreciate that. I don't know if I could have figured that out, but I appreciate it. But I broke down my plane. Sorry, I shouldn't say I broke down, but I just want to go on record and let DeShawn know. DeShawn was concerned about my safety. You weren't flying with Pastor Mandy. That's why I was not flying with Pastor Mandy, and my plane got grounded due to inclement weather, and so I landed in Oklahoma City, and I was supposed to be in Dallas and Dallas to Huntsville. And long story short, they grounded my flight due to thunder, which I'm okay with. The problem is I had to get to Huntsville, so I had to rent a car, and I had to drive through the rest of Oklahoma, all of Arkansas, part of Tennessee, part of Mississippi to get to Alabama. But I was driving at night on my first leg of the trip, in which I called DeShawn and we were having a conversation. He goes, "Where are you at?" I go, "I just entered the great state of Arkansas." And DeShawn quickly said to me, "Be careful where you stop."
No, I told you to go get a MAGA hat.
Yeah. He said, "Be careful where you stop, and you should probably get a MAGA hat." I said, "You're right. The MAGA hat will cure all things."
Do you get to pump your own gas?
You do. You get to pump your own gas in Arkansas. But I told him I had a better plan. You ready for my better plan? You're going to love my better plan. I said, not only am I going to get a MAGA hat, the moment I get out of the car, I am going to shout, "Deport them all." That's what I'm going to shout. I'm just going to get out there. I'm going to have my head on. And I go, "Deport them all. Build us a wall. Let's go." That was going to be my slogan. Deport them all, build a wall. That was going to be my slogan.
I thought you were going to get a shirt that says, like, "I'm Italian."
I had a plan.
I'm Tony.
I'm Tony from Bronx, right? And so I had this whole plan, and I was telling him, I was like, "Man, I'm cool. You know, we just had a good time." But I literally drove through there, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I had a great time. I don't really like driving. I got to see a beautiful lightning show all the way through Arkansas. The people were nice when I stopped. I really didn't have no problems, but we were just joking back and forth, having a good old time about it. But I get to the men's conference, and I'm there, and I'm just talking to all sorts of men. And I'm leading to what we want to talk about today. I was having a conversation with a few of the men, and we were talking a little bit about how California goes, kind of like so goes the rest of the world. Like California is like the harbinger, the canary in the gold mine for what the agenda is going to be for nationally. We started talking about that. And I really didn't do much social media because we were doing church all day. And I was really surprised every time I had jumped on, like what was popping off. And it was almost like I couldn't believe what I was seeing, right? And so I want to talk about that. And I want to pull up this first clip because I think we need to talk about it because I think there's some truth in this first clip. It's Andrew Tate. I know DeShawn just loves Andrew Tate. I mean, he is the biggest Andrew Tate fan you're ever going to meet in your entire life. Tell us how you feel about Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate needs to either find Jesus or find a bullet.
Okay. Wow.
I mean, no qualms about it. He is not good for our world. He's leading man down the wrong path. I know what I said, and I stand by it.
Is that a shirt?
Find Jesus or find a bullet.
Okay, let me look at the camera. So DeShawn's shirt idea is for some people.
No, Andrew Tate.
And, okay, pardon me. We're going to clarify. We're going to be 100% on the record here. DeShawn's T-shirt's going to say Andrew Tate either needs to find Jesus or find a bullet. Wow, that's.
I prefer Jesus.
Okay. Oh, okay. And it's small hashtag print. I prefer Jesus. There you go. Okay, that's great. Well, I want to show this clip. I'm going to pull it up. You guys can watch that right now.
Most of the conspiracy theories that were dismissed as crazy or got people canceled have all been proven true. You're welcome. You're all welcome.
COVID.
All
we said.
Everything we
I
said.
have no Instagram, no Facebook.
We're deleted from everything for telling you the truth. COVID was a hoax. This is no longer a debate. Russiagate, going all the way up to Obama, was bigger than Watergate. More and more people understand the 2020 election was in some way compromised by mail-in ballot harvesting, media duplicity, intelligence agency meddling, and tech censorship. The war in Ukraine is built on lies and corruption propagated by evil, self-serving, unelected bureaucrats and politicians under the influence of lobbyists. The absurdity of avoidable crime, DEI, lawfare, two-tier justice, legislative and fiscal incompetence, and illegal immigration is too glaring to ignore, spin, or brush under the rug. We've reached a point now where the Matrix has broken. Everybody with even a fraction of a brain is starting to understand that it's all a lie. It's all bullshit.
All right. Why were you laughing during the middle of it?
Was there a third option? Find Jesus, find a bullet, or find a T-shirt? Where's this shirt?
The third option. That's good. You agree with them? Find Jesus, find a bullet, or just borrow a shirt? What do we got going on here? So I bring this up. Because I almost can't believe what I see sometimes. And I want to bring this up because in just a few short days, we are coming upon the 4-year anniversary of COVID. He says that he came out from the beginning. He said the COVID thing was a hoax. It was a big plan. It was a mastermind of a plan to shut down our economy, to do certain things. I don't agree with him on all of his points about the COVID. But now looking back, CDC 2 weeks ago said COVID is no worse than the flu. And there are certain elements of this COVID that I call COVID debacle. And I definitely think there's some truth to that. We are now in the rearview mirror of COVID, and you got a lot of people looking back going right now like, what was that? How did that happen? How did these people and these officials get all this power? What is your thoughts? What is your thoughts about COVID looking back 4 years now?
I think one of the things that is hard to kind of like sift through is that a lot of people who are choosing to speak up are crazy like him. Okay. And so like I don't think people are really like giving it very much credibility.
Can I just ask you a question though? By the way, I agree with that. That really hurts, right? The messenger sometimes is equally as important as the message, right? The only problem I have with that is, what about the people like the Dr. Peter McCullough, who at one time was the leading doctor in the whole state of Texas, had written more peer-reviewed papers than anybody in the world. All these things, whose close friend and him created the mRNA vaccine, and they gave him no credibility. So here's the guy who's the top of what he is, and he's saying, hey, it's all wrong. This is bad. This is bad. This is bad. They don't listen to him. And then you got someone like Andrew Tate, and they don't listen to him. So who are they going to listen to then? That's my question.
Yeah, they're going to want to listen to like some social media influencer who's not like crazy, if that makes any sense.
Okay, but you have the social media influencers, the one saying, I just got my shot.
Right, that's what they listen to. They listen to, the Travis Kelce doing a Pfizer commercial still.
He got paid. Brother got paid though.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he got paid.
And so I think that's kind of like who people are looking to listen to at this point.
So where should us normal folk land? Because we got in trouble for saying, hey guys, we're watching other countries handle things different. We're watching other countries do things different. I don't know about this. Where did the flu all of a sudden go? Hey, you're not allowed just to shut the world down for something you think is going to be bad. Like you had the Dr. Fauci's out there who we realized lined his pockets with a lot of money, allegedly. We got the Joe Rogans of the world saying, hey, I was buying into this and now I'm not buying into it. I think we need to slow roll. We had a lot of people on, and if I could just say it this way, on different parts of the spectrum there who were all questioning this, and we were all eviscerated. Aaron Rodgers talks about that in great detail. What happened to sense and sensibility when COVID hit? What happened to reason and logic? What happened to trust in the science when it hit?
I don't know. What you think?
What do you think? What do you think looking back now at COVID? What's your take?
Was there an increase in people dying during that time?
Okay, the answer is no.
Was there an increase of people dying during that time?
The answer is no. No, and I'm going to tell you why it's no. If you would have asked me in 2020, I would have said yes. Follow this. If you'd asked me in 2020, I would have said yes. In 2024, if you go back and you take 2020's numbers, okay, just follow me. And you would look at cause of death. Did you die from COVID or did you die with COVID? They had since relabeled everything. So the answer is no. Because what they were labeling people, if you just had COVID, period, they put COVID as your killer. Because you were incentivized financially to do so. Now going back, no. The answer is no. Because they have a certain range you're allowed to bump up to, and it's not an increase. It's just, this is the ebb and flow of people, how many older people there were, how many younger people there were. It's the ebb and flow. But if you go back, the numbers have never changed. If you look at flu numbers and all, it's never changed. If you incorporate that.
So our hospitals weren't overrun with dead bodies?
The hospitals were overran with dead bodies.
I'm not necessarily arguing, but I'm saying you have these things that people experience.
Right.
That you see, like, hey, man, we have trailers at our hospital full with bodies. Like, those
I'm going to answer that, though. I'm going to answer that question, though. And I'm going to tell you why they were full of dead bodies. Because we didn't treat the people.
Okay, I'm not arguing like why, but I'm saying during that time you have this, and so you have people on one side saying, no, this is all hoax, but you have people like, man, look at the hospital, I can't get in. They're experiencing this firsthand, and so you're asking like, where should we be at? It's like, okay, how we have to speak to what people are actually feeling. Is it outside of the facts? Like, oh yeah, you got all these facts, but this is what was happening.
Okay.
This is what they were experiencing. This is when people are in the hospital. I can't go visit my family member who's in the hospital. This is what they're experiencing. So you can say like, oh, this is what it is. But it's like, oh, this is what I experienced. This is what I lived through.
So what we had a collapse of the entire medical community.
Yes, so I'm saying. So there was something going on. So all wasn't a complete hoax. So we really had something going on.
But remember, it was labeled. Here's the title today. Is it a conspiracy theory? And that's what a question mark.
Yeah, but I think just to call it a hoax now, like, hey, that was all fairy tale. That's in your head. The hospitals weren't really packed out. There really isn't all these people dying. It wasn't really that. It was all a hoax. It was all make believe.
Okay, so you're on the semantics of the word he chose.
That's what I'm saying. But when you say that, then you're like, how do we all work this out? You're like, it's automatically you get rid of what people really want to do.
Okay, so what you're saying is if he would have said, hey, this was overblown and exaggerated.
Yeah, because otherwise you're telling people, no, you didn't experience anything. That was all a lie.
Okay. Yeah, and I think looking back at it now, hospitals have ebbs and flows of being overran, period. Hospitals have ebbs and flows of being overran, period. And when you definitely treat people, when you definitely don't give the right treatment, you're going to be overran. Come to find out that we didn't have a ventilator problem because you put people on ventilators, they die. You see what I'm saying? Like I think this was a self-inflicted wound. Like, because we threw all logic and all medical, all medical remedies out the window. And I think that's what happened. So anyway, that's my opinion. But I hear what you're saying, and that's a poor choice of words. But then again, he's a sensationalist, right? He's just trying to do stuff for shock value. Yeah, it's all a hoax.
He's worthless. Yeah.
Okay. We got to add that to the shirt. So we have find Jesus, find a bullet. I prefer Jesus. He's still worthless. Not Jesus is worthless, but Andrew Tate is still worthless. Okay, your shirt's growing. It's a growing shirt. I like this. I think that's true. So he went on to talk about the Russiagate, and that's the Russia collusion that Trump was apparently a part of, and that you had the Steele dossier that said that Trump was in collusion with Russia. And why hasn't the mainstream media come out and just said, hey, we realized that we missed it on that. That was a hoax. Definition of a hoax is a fabricated story, right? But we see that even when us normal people came out and said, I don't think that's what happened, the media still ran with it. How do you guys feel about that? When is the media going to own up to their mulligans, to the things that they do wrong?
I don't think the media will do that, because if the media does that, then it almost like discredits them.
Okay.
So if they say, hey, we were wrong about this, then the next time that they send something out, then people aren't going to tune in, because they're like, well, what if they're wrong about that?
But what happened to fact checking and verifying and all that?
I think you might find some outlets or some reporters who might want to do that, but they also want to be like the first one on the scene. Yeah, you get money for that.
Oh, okay.
You get money to be the news outlet that everybody goes to, because they get your news first.
So are you saying, Bishop, let me just rewind here. Are you saying like when you get somebody like an Andrew Tate and they use these over sensationalized words like hoax, you think that automatically tunes some people out? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And so you're saying like even if he would have presented that, hey guys, we had this whole thing about this Russia collusion with Trump before and how he got into office and blah 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 blah, and now we're coming to find out that was misreported. So you're saying just a better choice of words, and he would actually bring more people in.
Yeah, because I mean, I think a big thing with media, if you want people to view it, you have to go to extremes, and I think it gets more and more divided. It's like what you felt, what do you go through? Like it doesn't matter. Just like you have to choose the extreme.
Okay, so my question to you two then, on some of these things that you do have these people who I will grant you, the Alex Jones, which I do respect him in certain aspects, the Andrew Tates, and I'm going to show you a couple others here in a second. You think these guys, when they use such strong words, such sensationalized words, that it automatically shuts the middle of the road people off? But here's my concern. A lot of these things they're saying, even though they're using, I would say, poor choice of words, they're not conspiracy theories. They're actually being proven right. Does that add to their credibility at all? Or is it because they've already offended and closed off so many people, it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong, they still just lost that credibility? But when do they start to get credit then for what they said?
Be a credible person.
Yeah, I think the character of who they are and their personality, like it only hurts them in the long run when you start to use all the poor choice of words, and you could tell that they're just going for clickbait and things like that. Whereas you have somebody, it's almost like Joe Rogan, I feel like will sometimes
push that envelope a little.
He'll push it, but he toes the line really well, and I think
he does.
He
actually does.
He's way more balanced than those.
And I think that's why you see he gets people from the left who will watch his stuff, and then also people from the right.
Okay.
Because he doesn't go so extreme. His personality is there, but it's not, flamboyant, crazy.
Well, for those who don't watch it, and that's up to you whether or not you watch it, he does buy into a lot of conspiracy theories. Like that's what they try to label him all the time.
Especially when he's smoking that, what.
Oh yeah, or drink, yeah, or a combination of both. But here's the thing: he wasn't wrong about COVID. Joe Rogan wasn't wrong, and he's not. He hasn't been wrong about a few of these things. So, which is funny because it's only grown his podcast. It's only grown his listener base because like, hey, he kind of came out and said that, and he's actually been right. So let's go on to the other one. He mentions election interference. And I know you and I, we had a little bit of a conversation about it. I'm not the guy who goes, hey, they stole the election. But I'm 100% in every election since they started ballot harvesting and mail-in ballots. I'm 100% there is some election interference. That when you opened up to mail-in ballots and ballot harvesting, I guarantee you there's no way there's 100% foolproof. And I'm going to tell you why I feel this way. Because in California, we've been voting by mail for as long as I can remember. You get your ballots into you. And so this year, I meticulously, I have a two-part system. I always fill it out at home. And I either walk it in and hand it to somebody. Actually, the last couple ones I have actually went down and just voted in person. But this last one, because this is a this is a primary one. On the primaries, I usually just walk it in, or they have the little like mailbox out in front of where you walk it in. And if the line's too long, I'll just put it in the mailbox. I'm really a convenience person. And I'm going through it meticulously, right? Because I'm making sure I'm voting no on Measure E, which, by the way, lost. And so I was very happy about that. And so it dawns on me, and I don't know if I've missed it before or not, but other people can fill the ballot out for you in California. Did you catch that? And they just got a sign that they filled it out in proxy of you, and that you were the witness thereof. And I got to thinking, you could put any name you wanted to down on there. So for me to think that these elections are 100% foolproof, I would just be plumb dumb to think so. So I definitely think in the 2020 election, when it was all mail-in ballots, right, for the most part, I definitely think there was some interference. Do you think I've lost my mind? Or do you think I'm a credible person where people can actually say, hey, there was probably on some level some type of election interference?
Yeah, I mean, it's very easy to vote for or have somebody vote for you or to vote for somebody else, and nobody would know. And so to say that there's like zero election interference, I think is a stretch. This is what I think they should do. I think what do they call it? Super Tuesday?
Uh-huh.
I think that should be a national holiday.
Yep.
I think that everybody should be off of that work that day. I think everybody should vote in person.
Yep.
I think that public transportation should be open that day.
Free.
And everything is free. I think that we as a government should be able to get enough people together to bus people to polling places who need a ride. And then in the event that you were bed stricken or something like that, and you still wanted to vote, that you could get some type of exemption.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I think everybody should have to vote in person.
Yeah. What'd you think of what'd you think of that?
Now, I will say, but before that, you could also vote in person. So not just that day.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So like
okay.
for a week, you could you can go to these places, you can vote in person.
Okay.
But on that specific day, you have no excuse because everybody's going to be off of work. Kids are going to be out of school. You can get a ride, the whole nine.
What were you going to say?
Yeah, I'm good with it. I don't know much about how the process is, and though I think it's interference, I think it's probably since day one of voting has been interference.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
You can watch. By the way, great movie, Free State Jones with Matthew McConaughey. Great movie about voting rights acts, all that. Just if you want to watch a good movie, I think there's always been. Matter of fact, I would agree to that. I mean, think about it. We do everything else for everybody else. Why couldn't we do that? You have the 3 days. And make one of them a Saturday if you needed to, right? Make one of them a Saturday of some sort. You have 3 days, but on that day, which would be the Tuesday, national holiday, free transportation, everything you just said and more.
And if the Democrats really care that much about helping people vote, then they will help them vote that day.
Of course, because,
Except for you can't fill out their ballot.
Right. But you do know, they do say voter IDs are restrictive because most people of color don't have voter IDs, which is just an ID.
Oh.
Have you ever?
Well, who's going to vote for? Hey, well, then who's going to vote for Biden?
Have you ever not had your driver's license? Not talking about suspended. I'm just talking about have you ever went with it like? I've always had a driver's license. Have you always had a driver's license?
Yeah.
Okay.
Black people can get IDs.
Okay. Because that's important because you need to look at the camera and just let all the Democrats know black people can get IDs. This is important. Okay. Now you are color. We have determined white is a color. It's
no, we haven't.
Wait, you're the only one who feels this way. White's a color. I went in and got pink today. White, it was a color. It was there.
Okay.
It was there. I'm giving you some cred, Mike, for once.
I don't need credit. I'm just right.
Have you always had a driver's? Since you turned 16 or 17 when you got your license? Have you always had an ID?
Yeah.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can do this. Okay, National Day. Okay, so
if that's a big deal, that you could even make a big push 6 months before that. The DMV can do help you get your driver's license. I mean, we give free money away for everything else. Why don't we give free money to help people get their driver's license?
That's my point. I think this is not true. I think it's just talking points. And just to piggyback off what you're saying, bro, we can make this happen. And then it still won't be 100%, credible because there's always some sort of cheating, right? But it'll be a lot closer than what we have now. So going on this, I'm a big boxing fan. I don't know if the listeners know that. You could type in over the years who your favorite boxer was. I know my mom watches, and she was a huge Mike Tyson fan. So I was watching Mike Tyson since I was.
He's getting ready to fight.
He is Jake Paul. He may still have it. I don't know.
It's either going to be really great,
but I might buy
terrible.
this one because I like Mike. I still like Mike. He was an anomaly. And so anyway, long story short, Ryan Garcia, talk about is it a conspiracy theory? Ryan Garcia, a couple weeks ago, maybe I might have that wrong. Went on Andrew Tate's show, or a show that Andrew Tate was co-hosting or whatever, an X Live, and he starts talking about Bohemian Grove. Now, you guys could Google that if you want. I know previously I've heard of Bohemian Grove only because I saw a little documentary on it. In California, where the elite go to play, a lot of mystery around it. You can't get in, invite only, select society, all sorts of nefarious activities allegedly goes on there. I think Alex Jones even broke something on that at one time too. Ryan Garcia goes on. He's on X Live. I can't play it. It's just way too much cussing. And basically saying, listen, they're raping small kids. He sounds, if you're not careful, he sounds like he's gone to like a mental break, like an episode. He is preparing for a fight too, by the way. People kind of dismiss it. Other people start jumping on. Like, no, he's telling the truth. He ain't snapping. They're going to try to say he's crazy. And then he says someone gets a hold of his phone and starts tweeting and or Xing. I can't help but say tweeting because I say Xing. It sounds like I'm doing something bad. He goes on Instagram, they starts posting Brian Garcia did not kill himself. All these just weird, strange things. And he says my phone got stolen. I'm trying to get my number back. I can't log in. He does another live interview. Anyway, all this stuff starts going on, and then people start making kind of like Snapchat filters of him, memes of him. And I want to play one, and you got to look past the memes, but of one where he seems very, very much in his right mind. And he's like, no, I'm trying to tell you guys everything I was saying before. I wasn't going through a manic episode or anything like this. Like, I'm trying to tell you, like, there's some crazy stuff going on in Hollywood and with the elites politically. And I just want to show you this clip. You got to look past the Snapchat filter, but look how they're trying to make fun of him. Don't look at that, but listen to the content of what he's saying, okay? So I want you to watch this.
At the end of the day, I got a lot of people that told me not to do this, that it's going to get bad for me. I don't care. I live for God. I don't live for anybody else. I'm going to touch this really quick, really quick. The rules of satanic worship is it needs to be in your plain sight. That's all I'm going to say. So everything that I'm saying is right in front of your face, and you're not doing anything about it. You're not doing anything about it. I'm screaming to the world, putting my reputation on the line. I got people wanting to cancel the fight. People telling me I need to go to a mental rehab to put me into the psych ward because I'm speaking the truth. Please help me and you help the children. You know, Jeffrey Epstein ain't the only island. Think about that. They do horrible things together so they don't snitch against each other, and they're rich so they hold each other accountable. If you say something, I'm going to say something, and everything comes down. Think about it.
Let them know about your foundation you want to start too.
And I'm starting my foundation, Save the Children.
Okay, so I look past these filters, and I think to myself, is this a conspiracy theory or is more going to be uncovered? In other words, is he kind of giving us a partial and there's more to this story? Or is he just full of crap and lost his mind before this big fight? What do you think? What do you think is really going on? So you got this Bohemian Grove, you got these elite societies that are abusing kids, that are performing these rituals, satanic rituals, all this in Hollywood. In the music industry, we talked about Diddy. We talked about, is there some truth to this? Do you think they're going to paint him to be crazy, or is he going to be proven right in the end?
Well, he may be crazy. I mean, he's a boxer. He gets hit in the head a lot. But I will say this. I think most people would agree that there is a level of depravity in Hollywood that's usually worse, if not all the time worse, than whatever normal culture is.
Okay, go ahead. Speak on it. What do you mean?
So, like, for instance, normal culture right now allows you to do a drag show at a library.
Okay.
Normal culture right now tells kids that they can, mutilate their own bodies by having sex changes at a very young age.
Right.
And normal culture says, like, that's okay. School systems say that that's okay. Dr. Phil was talking about how, the medical industry is saying that that's okay. And that's like normal society. Hollywood is always a little bit more extreme,
okay,
especially when it comes to the depravity of sex, drugs, rock and roll, right? All that stuff. So if our normal culture is saying all those things are okay, I can only imagine what Hollywood is saying. Plus, if you've seen, what's the movie where they showed the trafficking of kids?
Sound of Freedom.
So, like, if you've seen Sound of Freedom or you've read up about it, people can't argue the statistics that are in Sound of Freedom. Some people don't like the story and how it was portrayed, but the facts are the facts in the sense of, like, the U.S. being number one, or if not, close to being number one in regards to importing child pornography and then sex trafficking of kids. So, like, there are facts that are out there that would support that in Hollywood, stuff's probably crazy. Is it at whatever that place is called? Who knows?
Bohemian Grove.
Bohemian Grove? Maybe, maybe not. But it's somewhere. Eventually, like, enough people come out where they start saying, "Hey, there's this crazy things that are happening in Hollywood." Okay. You have to say, I agree that there's probably something going on.
Okay, so let me just, if I can, throw this at you, Bishop. 20 years ago, if I could say it that way, people would have said, man, there ain't nothing going on Epstein Island. Man, it's cool. We just party out there. We just do our thing out there. Now looking back after things have been exposed, and by the way, not all of it has been exposed. We don't even know. We still can't get lists. We can't. Who's covering up what? Dude allegedly kills himself. Now looking back at it, the people who were calling out stuff about Epstein Island and what's going on there, are they not validated? So in other words, was it a conspiracy theory or was it real? And so if that's the case, is it possible that this Bohemian Grove stuff is real? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's possible. I think anytime you find men with power and money, if they're not careful, they're gonna find themselves in a bad situation. Talking about the guy from Sound of Freedom, if you go to his YouTube, you'll find actual footage of him like rescuing young girls from men who are trying to buy these girls to have parties. And to think that can happen in our culture in America right now, where people who have money and all the resources, the property, can keep people quiet, that wouldn't happen, is you're crazy. Like that can, especially with men. I mean, they've let themselves go. They'll find themselves in a very depraved situation, and so I think it's very possible. I mean, if I had to bet on this, it's happening. Then was it specifically what he said? I don't know, but I can say without a doubt, like these things happen.
So right after that Ryan Garcia video, there was a guy who comes out, and you ended up doing a little research on him, right? And you found out that he was a Nickelodeon.
Yeah. He had been on, Raven's show. He was on He was a little kid on Major Payne.
But did you say he was a comedian? What's his name? Brandon?
Orlando Brown. Did you say he was a comedian too? I think he's a comedian. I think he does some comedian, but he kind of like portrays himself as a funny character.
Okay,
How about that?
okay.
Not necessarily like stand up. I don't think.
Okay, but going back to your point, but after doing a little bit of digging, you found out he was on all these child shows.
Yeah, he's been on the kid side of
That's what
Hollywood.
I'm saying. Yeah. As a kid, he
for
was
a long time.
So he comes out, and I can't even play the video because it's so strange. I mean, we looked at each other going, how do you even decipher that?
Yeah, what are you saying?
What are you saying? But he seems very sure in what he's saying. Like as if he's telling people out there who watch him, who know what the vernacular and what he's talking about. Like, hey, I'm exposing what you're doing. These other people don't know yet, but I'm exposing what you're doing.
I'll say this, but as we just thinking about this, I have seen things in my life that have like messed me up.
Okay.
If they've seen what they're talking about seeing, I can see them being messed up.
No, I'm okay. This is where I'm going with it. I agree with you. And that's what I'm talking about. I think we're quick to label things conspiracy theories, and here's why: because we want our heads in the sand. We label it conspiracy theories because we don't want to believe, and we don't want to know these things are actually happening. That's why people didn't like The Sound of Freedom. They could not stomach the fact that this was happening on American soil, and us having open borders was actually exacerbating the problem, was actually magnifying the problem, was actually feeding the problem, because we won't shut down the freaking border and make sure people coming through on good protocol. Now, what's crazy is Dr. Phil went on the Joe Rogan podcast and he said, having open borders, I talked to the Border Patrol agents and I asked them, what's your number one concern? He goes, that these girls and these young kids, these young boys are being sold into slavery and there's nothing we can do about it. He said, well, do you need Congress to pass a law? He goes, no, we don't. We just need the president of the United States to give us a green light for us to do our freaking jobs. He goes, how are you handling it? He goes, I don't handle it. I don't sleep. Knowing that I just passed this 7-year-old girl off to some freaking pervert somewhere that she's going to get raped and possibly sold and raped and possibly sold. And I can't do my job. And then on top of it, now I got to give her money. So I'm literally going to give that next guy money after he's already going to make money and pass her off. So it's not conspiracy. So the guy goes on, he does this weird video and he talks about this stuff that's happening, that happened to him or that he watched as a child star. I'm telling you, I just don't know if it's conspiracy theory. And here's what else is crazy. If we didn't have certain video, if we'd have talked about sucking toes at a school assembly that kids had to pay for, we'd have said, that's got to be fake. Until you see the toe sucking.
Yeah.
Right? And so we see, and I just want to read this. We talk a lot about culture and its influence on the church, right? I just want to read this. I think people need to wake up. I think people need to get their heads from out of the sand. Listen to this. It says, this is 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1. It says, but know this, in the last days there will be perilous times. Perilous. That means times of the days of Noah. Like there's going to be some unbelievable times. Like stuff that you're going to think is conspiracy theories. Man, they're actually real. He says, for men will be lovers of themselves. Exactly what you talked about. Men just got to, and you know what's going to happen is they hit this new level of dopamine and serotonin, and they can't get up to it anymore. So they got to push another extreme. They got to push another extreme. They got to push another extreme. Next thing you know, they selling kids, right? They doing this stuff. Lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to their parents, unthankful, unholy, unloving, unforgiving, slanderers, without self-control, brutal, despisers of good, traitors, headstrong, haughty, lovers of pleasures rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying all its power. And from such people turn away from. And are we not living in the last days? And the things that we thought were conspiracy are now the real deal. I got to the airport yesterday because I had walked by and I saw a little ticker and it told me about Haiti. Haiti. Real quick disclaimer. The next video that I'm about to show you, if you have a weak stomach, don't watch. This was live. This guy was live. He goes by the name of Barbecue. He's an Haitian cartel lord of some sort.
They said he's the number one guy ruling Haiti right now.
And Haiti's been completely de-governmentized. Haiti's in a free-for-all. The last of the government officials left. It is completely overran. And if you wanted to do more study on it, you got to be careful. You were going to meet a group of articles and a group of people that are going to solely blame this on the Clintons and what Clintons did to Haiti. I can't get into all that. You have to read it for yourself. You're going to hear people talk about what Obama failed to do. They're going to bring up all these past presidents. Haiti's been in a failed state for a long time. According to FEMA, according to agencies out there, Haiti is basically running out of food. And I don't say this to set up the next clip. I'm just telling you the debacle it's in. It's completely in a downfall. And what I couldn't believe it, and I talked to you guys about it this morning. I don't know if we can still believe it. I couldn't believe it, but this guy, the chief leader right now, or the king, whatever he calls himself, his name is Barbecue. Well, he goes by Barbecue. He's a cannibal. And on live TV or live whatever he was shooting, well, I tell you what, I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to let you watch the video. Do not watch the video after I tell you what I tell you if you don't like it. There's a dead body roasting over fire. And I say roasting because he picks up the leg, tears off a piece of the calf, and he eats it. You've been warned. Here's the video. Are you okay? I'm not okay. Are you okay? Are you okay?
Some people can't be redeemed.
There's no hope for him?
No hope.
So now we have Andrew Tate and we have Barbecue.
Yep. Both find Jesus or catch a bullet.
Both. Well, if I had to go by who's catching bullet, Barbecue going to be in some trouble.
Andrew Tate might do more harm than he does, though. He has a bigger platform. He hurts a lot of young men.
He's running a whole nation right now.
Andrew
Haiti
Tate reaches a few million people. Young boys.
I hear what you're
Treating women
saying.
wrong.
I think it's just two.
Wrong.
It's just two different worlds right now.
The video is bad.
I got nothing to say. It's bad. It is.
What'd you think when you first saw it? Like, did you for a second think, is this real?
Oh, man, I almost threw up.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I believe it. I've heard stuff about Haiti for a long time. When I was in college, I had some friends who were Haitian, and they've told me about Haiti. Haiti's a bad place. Haiti's got no natural resources for the most part. Like, they don't export much. So it's the same island as the Dominican, but the Dominican on one side has all the stuff that they can export, and so people go to the Dominican for the resorts and stuff like that. Then Haiti's on the complete same island, right, but the other half, and Haiti's got nothing, and it's just grimy. It's just a bad place, and it's been like that for a long time.
What was your first thought? Did you actually believe the video when you saw it? I mean, like.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was watching. I was just yeah. Yeah, that's where society ends up. And I think a lot of times as Americans, it's hard to really believe certain things or realize like these things can happen. This is the depravity of men because you're so far away from it. We're probably one of the most civilized societies ever in the history of the world. And you can be so far away from things. I mean, just the convenience that we have of not walking, be able to drive, to go to a grocery store, all these things, like you're separated from any type of death. Like I don't have to worry about killing the animal to get food. All these type of things you're far away from. So to even think that these things could be possible is like, or that people could be that depraved, it's hard for you to even imagine.
So are we living in the last days? How much more worse it got to get?
I have a hard time. I have a hard time with that. It's the only thing is like, is it that bad in terms of history? It hasn't been a lot worse in history. Was Rome a lot worse? Were they?
These are great questions.
Well, I'm not arguing. I'm not making a case. I really don't know. Like, were they taking advantage of more young boys? You know, back then, like the emperor just like he's just taking whoever he wants.
Okay.
Was it a lot worse then than it is now? I don't have an answer. I'm just, yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? Are we living in some last days? I mean, you saw that video, bro. That's disturbing.
That's a great point. Like in context, I mean, we do see it as being bad, but like in context, how much worse is it now than it had been?
Like during Jesus' time, I mean, they're crucifying people, and people were just spread out on the street,
right,
on the cross. Like, you know, you're seeing that. You know, there's gladiators, and you're going to watch guys kill each other or get killed by a lion. Like,
no, I'm just saying, like, bro, okay, can I put it to you a different way? What's next?
Well, I think if America is not careful, we're going to find ourselves like those countries. Like, we're going to keep finding more and more depravities show up to our doorsteps. So we get closer and closer to where you are. Then you realize, like, what happened? Well, how did our country change this way? How was this? How was the people getting shot on my street? How is it? I mean, these things will end up at your doorstep, and you're going to have to be encountered with it face to face.
If you were to grab 10 people and you were to say that this is going to end up on your doorstep if you don't do something now, how many of those 10 people you think respond and do something?
No, it looks like you're crazy.
See, that's our problem, right? That's our problem. Go ahead.
Would you say? No, I'm not a historian, but would you say that the U.S. has been almost like the police for the world for a long time?
Oh, bro, don't go in the comment sections. People are going nuts. You know, I believe it's still a French province and a Canada province, French province, and they're screaming for them to do something. They're like, we're not getting involved. Are you kidding? This is crazy down there. But people always look to the U.S. to police the world. That's why. And by the way, I support this. I don't care if people come after me or not. Donald Trump is going, we're not giving any more money to the UN until people start carrying their own weight. He's 100% right. They expect America to fund and police everything, and that's why we always get the bad rap and get into trouble.
So we would say a lot of people would say that like we're the physical police in this
literally.
But then also,
they're already calling for that. America needs to go fix it. Here's what I say: if we're gonna step in and fix it, you need to own it.
But my next question was, would people say that we're like the moral police as well?
That's what they're crying for. Yes.
Okay, so the farther that we get away from morality, then we're gonna. So it's because I think your question was like, how, you know, what's next, right? Well, if we continue, if we're supposed to be holding the line, right? Mm-hmm. The farther that we go away from things, how much worse is the rest of the world going to be?
So true.
So what's next? I don't know. I mean, you had showed us a video where they talk about pedophilia.
Right. Well, he says having a form of godliness but denying the power. That's us right now. That's America. We have this form of godliness, right? Who was it? Somebody got up and got an award, and they was cussing, and then they go, "But man, God gave me this ability." I'm thinking, bro. Like, you just went on a whole. Actually, I think you're high and drunk, and and then, but you know, shout out to my God. He helped me out. You know, he helped me write this. God did not help you write that.
Well, at least they're recognizing God. Now they're like, the devil got me this power to do it. It was at least they had some reverence for God. They didn't got that anymore.
They don't. It's open satanic stuff. So well, at least I think you ask a great question, and I want to show you. I think things like this. This is why I feel like this podcast is so important. We're showing you this. We are bringing this to you. We're saying, listen, you can make some changes. It starts with you. If you want it to be different, you got to be different. And I came across, talk about us being the moral police and how far have we gone. I found this clip of these dads You guys just got to watch this and listen to the answer. I couldn't believe the answer. This tells you how far we have fallen. So watch this right here.
Take your kids to church or take them to a drag show if you have to choose.
Drag show. I go for the drag show.
Drag show?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Drag show.
How come?
I don't like church. I believe in myself.
What about you? How come?
I don't believe in church.
You don't believe in church? You don't believe in God?
No.
Yeah, I don't believe in God also. I don't believe in dogma.
So do you think it's worse for a child to believe in God than to go to a drag show?
I think we would explain to them what those drag queens are, you know? Not and they are what they are.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go on record and say I'm not taking my kids to a drag show. I feel like I need to do that. I'm not pressuring you guys, but what was that?
I'm going on record and say I'm not listening to my man who's got no shoes on. What's he doing with no shoes on?
I don't know what he's doing, but it looked cold. He had a jacket but no shoes. What'd you think of that? They lost their mind or what?
Yeah, it's a bunch of weak men who unfortunately are going to lead our country to downfall. Another dudes maybe follow Andrew Tate. I don't know.
He's against drag shows.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
He's same thing. Be free, do you, like whatever.
He's not with drag shows.
He probably hooking up with trans people too.
Okay. All right. We got to add that to the shirt. All right. Catch a bullet, catch Jesus, catch a trans guy. Okay, but I'm pretty sure he's against it. But go ahead.
No, it's unfortunate because they're supposed to lead. They're supposed to lead the way. Man, I was just watching something to send to you guys. They're talking about just the importance of your priorities and, man, how they set their priorities in their house. Your kids look to you as like, what's the most important? In church, in you as the father, putting the church being the most important, your kids are going to follow you in that direction. And these fathers are saying like, hey, that's not important. They're going to lead their kids down a place they don't want their kids to be, and they're going to look back and say, man, what happened to my kids? It was your fault, 100% your fault, because you led them that direction. Hopefully, by the grace of God, they find a real man who's going to lead them to a place towards God. But man, these are the guys that are leading. This is our country is going to continue to fall because of men like this.
What'd you think when you watched it?
I don't know how to follow that.
Oh, well, easy. Give me your own thoughts.
Okay.
That's all. But did you feel like, man, that guy need to get socked? Like, what'd you think when you saw that?
How many other men feel the same way?
No, get out of here. That's what you thought?
Like this is crazy. This is crazy.
The times we living in.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine who's pretty up in one of the school districts around. We're in Fresno, so like around us. And that's one of the things that he has been kind of taken back with as well, being in school districts. He's like, man, I would have thought there were more men in this district who have the power to change things, to have the power to have a voice that would say more, and they don't.
Wow.
And so I'm watching that going like, man, these look like kind of like, except for my man with no shoes, like these look like regular people. Like how many other men like feel this way?
What's that quote? In order for evil to triumph, good men just need to do nothing. You know, this is sad because men are supposed to lead, and these men obviously have a wishbone where they're supposed to be a backbone.
I would care for your son. Imagine what a depressing day that when your son shows up, says, "I want to wear a dress, wear some shoes, and put some makeup on." No, that's a bad day for a dad.
No, what a depressing day when he goes to school. Hey, little Bobby, what'd you do with your dad this weekend? We went to a drag show. I watched a guy parade himself around as if he was a woman. And the other guy's going, well, I just scored the winning touchdown in my football game today. And then you wonder why these kids are just screwed up. Men are not leading their homes. Men need to stand up. They need to get their voice back. And it's okay to be a man again. And these guys obviously lost their freaking minds, and somebody needs to pull that dad aside and say, listen, no, it ain't better to go to a drag show than to go to a church. What, do you want your kid to have no morals? Where are they going to Where are you going? What morals do you learn at a drag show? Did I miss it? But if you, don't even get me started. It's the last days. They are lovers of themselves. They are men who do not know how to lead. They are blasphemers. They're blasphemy. I'm telling you this scripture. I'm telling him 30 years ago, if I'd have got up and said, men are going to prefer to take their kids to drag shows than to the house of God, you guys would have said I was crazy. That I lost my mind. That I was some sort of conspiracy theorist or something. I'm telling you, things more and more are coming to pass. I don't know if we should be dismissing them. I just think we have. You said we're supposed to be the moral police, bro. I think we've fallen off the cliff. I think we don't know. Come here from Sikkim right now. Like we are in a free fall, and unless good men stand up and put their foot down and say, "Listen, something is going on. We need to put an end to it. This has gone too far. We have replaced God with ourselves, and it is not working out." Now, I say that to say, one of the things we need to do is we need to start calling a spade. We need to start calling the kettle black. We no more dodging stuff. No more PC. I'm telling you right now, and I love what Dr. Phil said. He said, I don't know how this happened, but the medical community and the psychology community, right, the two people who are supposed to be looking out for people, have dismissed these trans issues as not having mental instabilities and mental issues. He goes, we have done them a disservice. That is wrong. We should have never declassified them. There is something off. And I think he's 100% right. I think he's 100% right. And we've been a free-for-all ever since. The medical community is capitulating to the woke crowd out there. And I came across this video, and I almost couldn't believe myself. And I apologize for the video. It's not the best of quality. This is shot off of a security camera I'm going to get this wrong again because I can never get it right. This is a man who dresses like a woman. So that's a trans woman?
It's a man who dresses like a woman.
Okay, so this man goes in there with a skirt on, and he's hitting on this guy. And the only reason we know is because this guy tells the police what happens. He's hitting on this guy, but the man in the dress walks in with a sledgehammer to the convenience store. And this guy isn't liking being hit on. And so the man in the skirt gets mad and hits him with the sledgehammer. I'm going to show you the video. Watch this. Whoa! Okay, y'all wondering why the whoa face? I thought it was a sledgehammer. That was an axe.
Even if it was a sledgehammer.
Well, okay, I'm just, one's a little bit better than the other. It's an axe, bro. What was your first thought when you? Well, you obviously you corrected me. You said no, Pastor, that's an axe. And what's your first thought of that?
Why are you still in line? If the roller derby dude comes in with an axe, sledgehammer, weapon, unless it's. Even if it is Halloween, I'm like, hey, I'm looking at him. You watch the video. He's looking at the dude walk around the store.
With an axe.
You know what I'm thinking? I got to leave. Time for me to leave. I got to go. Time for me to
leave.
It
ain't worth the jerky? Best jerky in town. You got to go.
No, this dude about to hit somebody with that axe.
Hey, it's still the jerky. Everybody else is stealing. Walk out with the jerky and go home.
And what's he do?
He has a conversation.
Hits him with the axe. What'd you think was going to happen?
What'd you think when he saw it?
You know what might have happened with this dude?
Tell me, give me, fill it in for us. Give us a play-by-play.
Told stop judging people. Got called a racist one time.
Oh.
You know what? I ain't gonna judge people no more.
He said, hey, somebody told him white's not a color. He started he started feeling bad for being white.
He was on an apology tour.
He was on his apology tour. He was like, you know what? This person, you know what? Bless them. He's probably...
I shouldn't judge him.
I shouldn't judge him. She's probably a nice gal. Well, no, he done hit you with an axe, bro.
He wanted your number, you said no, and the jerky had to go.
He should have judged the freaking person.
You got to judge the situation.
Yeah, you got hit by a dude. That's what you got hit by.
Bro. Okay, what about that was a lady. What about the young lady who just got hit for no reason? That was 2 hits. Yeah. Okay, can I ask you a question? Is there something wrong with that person mentally?
You walking around hitting people with axes, I would assume so.
If you just walking around with an axe. Normal folks not walking around with an axe, man.
Okay. What if we wanted to
I don't know anybody who walks around with an axe.
I'll just ask, what if you wanted to ask a question?
You coming to church with an axe? Yeah, you coming in.
Facts. If you show up to our church with an axe, you ain't coming in.
Name a location outside of the woods where walking around with an axe is not weird.
Bro, there's issues. And you know what? You're right. He just dismissed it. Like, maybe I was bro, You need to judge your situation. Can you believe that's the time we're living in? Nobody thought it was weird that it walked in with an axe.
Oh, there's Tommy. Hey, Tommy. Yeah, give me a pack of Marlboros and a scratcher. Boom.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to ask you again. Are we living in some last days?
You used to couldn't go in the convenience store if you didn't wear a shirt, right?
No shirt, no shoes, no service.
They came with an axe.
Hey, nobody moved.
Nobody moved.
That's the State of the Union right there.
I'm telling you, y'all think I'm playing. We living in the last days right here. Like it's not conspiracy theory.
I'm telling you whose last day it wouldn't have been. Mine.
Bro, okay, and here's the sad part. You call the police, what they gonna do? Depending on where you live, they ain't even showing up.
That's true.
If you ain't dead, they ain't showing up.
Well, they've been defunded in a lot of cities.
Hopefully that's an assault with a deadly weapon. Hopefully.
Yeah, and he gets sent to a woman's prison.
Oh my gosh! Hey, that's real in California. That's you 100% right. Nope. And then they yeah. This is the state we live in. This is a sad state of affairs. Okay, so I want to end off with some. I'm telling you right now, people. When this whole virtual reality came out, the meta platforms and all that. I don't know if y'all remember. We did an episode about the meta platforms and how churches wanted to use it to share the gospel, and we were dead set against it.
Yeah, I didn't understand what you guys were talking about. That was a really smart conversation.
Are they still trying to do that?
Well, I'm still dead set against it. The more you capitulate to people living in these fantasy worlds, the worse it's going to get. And I came across this video. I'm telling you right now, I truly believe we're living in some very perilous times of last days times. Y'all got to watch this. If I would have told you this 3 months ago, you would have said I was a conspiracy theorist, but it's not a conspiracy theory. This is fact. We now have people reuniting with lost loved ones in a virtual reality. I want you to watch this. Are we doing too much? Are we too far gone? How do you come back from this? You just wrecked that woman's life. Not you, but this right here how does she recover from this?
No, I mean, you hear what she says. Like, she just wants to hold her daughter, right?
How does she not spend her whole life savings trying to live in that world?
You never get enough. You never get enough. This is like, as false of a reality that is for that mom, that probably felt really real. And so for tomorrow when she wakes up, she wants to go back to there.
That's my point. That's the sad state we're in, right? There's no hope. And the only hope is found in Christ. Remember what David said? I can't bring you to where I am when he lost his son, but I can sure go where you are. That's the hope we have in the resurrected Christ. We can go to where our loved ones are. You think they did her a service, or you think they did more harm than good?
Yeah, no, it's a sad video. That is the message of the gospel. That death is a hard thing. It's a grave consequence of sin. You even see Jesus, God himself weeping at the death of Lazarus, knowing he's going to bring him back to life. And still the pain of death is like, it's a hard reality that we all have to deal with. And for her to almost be, they play with that in that way it's unfortunate. But this is the hope of the gospel, that when you could be at a funeral at someone you love, that even though you feel the pain of that, you have this hope in Christ that a death has been conquered. And this is the message. This is why we do church. This is why church is so important. This is the message that we have. And she's trying to live in a false reality. But it's like, man, there is a God who cares for you and cares for your daughter. And you can see her once again.
In 2 Timothy chapter 3, he goes on to say, but evil men and impostors will grow worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. I feel like that's it right there. I feel like they're deceiving people because they themselves are deceived. They think they're really helping somebody, but they're no help at all. That is not going to bring closure because that's not real. That's not reality. And someone needs to call that out. There's no therapeutic remedy for death. Death is supposed to be hard. You're losing a loved one. But the gospel brings the hope that death isn't final. Death ain't the end all. The last of, especially if you're a believer. That's one of the perks of being a believer. Death is but momentary. Death is but passing us by. As believers, we look forward to death because it gets us out of this earthen vessel. This vessel that is limited. This vessel that is bound by time and space and not with our blessed Redeemer. We look death in the eyes and we have no fear. That's how the men of old, the men of great renown, the men who were still men, that's how they looked at death. They didn't fret death. They looked death in the eyes and go, oh, that's what you're going to do? You going to kill me? Do me a favor. Now we're doing everything we can to avoid death. We're doing everything we can to cheat death. And as believers, if the gospel costs your life, there's no greater honor. There's no greater prize than being a martyr. I'm not saying we got to go around looking for it, but we definitely don't got to duck it. If it's showtime, it's showtime. I believe that evil men have created such things thinking they were doing people a service, and all they were deceived themselves and deceiving others to a point where she thought she was holding her daughter. I feel sad. Where's her hope? Her hope in a virtual reality that's really not reality. It's not reality. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to throw this out there. And I watched that whole episode of Dr. Phil on the Joe Rogan podcast. He said, I'm going to tell you 2 times in history that the world changed, and it did not change for the better. Number 1, the Industrial Revolution. We went from families, a real tight family structure and unit because everybody had to pitch in and work on the farm, whether it was raising herds or raising crops. And you ready for this next one? He said in 2010, when everybody got one of these. If you look at over the course of 2010 to 2020, all the mental issues, all the anxiety, everything that you could possibly think of, it didn't double. It didn't triple. It continues to double and triple every year. Never has there been, listen to this, never has there been so much mental health and yet so many mental problems. Not fixed. When penicillin stepped onto the scene, deaths dropped by like 100% or 50%, excuse me, because we were able to treat people who have bacterial infections. You would think with all the therapy that's out there that surely we would have been able to fix the people that are broken. There's never been more broken generations than the last 2. And if current trends continue, there seems like there's no hope in sight because hope is found in the gospel of Jesus Christ. You got stuff like this virtual reality. You think that it would be healing wounds for people. No, it's just opening up scars and scabs, and it will deepen that cut. Am I wrong in that, or do you feel like I'm right in that?
Yeah, I don't think there's any hope in that virtual reality at all. I think it's almost like giving a drug, and she's got a high by seeing her daughter, and she's going to chase that drug for the rest of her life. There's no hope in that.
What about you, Bishop?
Yeah, no, it's not gonna fill the void that she needs filled. Man, because hard times are gonna come to everyone. There's gonna be difficult times, and there's gonna be times when the only person you can rely on is Christ. He's the only one who's gonna have the answers. He's the only one that can actually fulfill what you need. And you try to go to everything else, and you keep finding yourself empty. And so, but he's gonna be the only hope. And it's like if people just realize that, stop lying to themselves, stop running to thing after thing, and realize like, okay, I need something to fill this. It's not a thing, it's a person. People just realize that.
Yeah, I wanna go ahead and say this. I want to put this out there to people. I just want you to take an inventory right where you're at. I don't know if you're a believer, not a believer. I don't know how you found this podcast. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if you want to share this with somebody, but I need you to take an examination. I need you to take a look at what's going on around you. I need you to see with eyes wide open right now. Are we possibly witnessing some of the last days? Are we possibly witnessing some of the last hours of the last days? Is this a time right now? Is God trying to get your attention? Is this a time right now where you need to get some stuff right? Like you've been living on the edge. You've been riding that fence, but now's the time to go all in for Jesus. I'm telling you right now that sin will take you further than you ever wanted to go, keep you longer than you ever wanted to stay, and make you pay a price you never wanted to pay. You must be aware of this. You must understand that according to the word of God, it's going to go worse and worse and worse and worse until you finally find yourself at a point where there might not be no return. I'm telling you right now, God has a better plan. There is a better way. Stop and receive Christ as your Lord. If you're out there and you know better already, stop and recommit your life to Christ. This is it. You can see, as we showed you today, these things that were once conspiracy theories and these things that people thought were far out there, they're now becoming a new reality. We are living in those days. I just would put that out there to you. For those of you who are already on the right path, continue to bring awareness, continue to let people know, hey, there's a God who still cares. There's a God who still loves. Be the watchman on the wall and let everybody know. Hold the line, as the token said today. Hold that line. Hold that line and let people know there is a standard, there is a God. He does care, and he wants to redeem your life. This has been the Not Offended Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. We'll see you next week.